The Ministry of Health has directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to carry out necessary procedures for the assessment of a plant-based cough mixture to treat COVID-19 patients. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mashi Abdullahi, issued the directive in a memo addressed to the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye. The document, dated April 28, 2020, was titled Formulation of a Phytomedicine-Based Cough Mixture for the Management of COVID-19 Patients by Traditional, Complementary and Alternative Medicine Department of the Ministry. It noted in the memo that the pandemic has necessitated countries to look for solutions from within, and Nigeria is no exception. It is noteworthy, too, that Nigeria is blessed with medicinal plants which could be exploited. According to Abdullahi, the formulation is a herbal cough mixture. He said all the ingredients that make up the formulations are medicinal plants that are widely used as food materials and medicines. These include garlic, onions, ginger, West African black pepper, and baobab tree fruits. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, has called on medical doctors and other healthcare professionals to shun unauthorized treatment of persons infected with coronavirus. He made the call during the briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Abuja. All healthcare professionals and associated personnel should diligently follow safety infection prevention and control protocols both inside and outside healthcare facilities, and not to indulge in unauthorized treatment of COVID-19 cases, the minister said. Ehanire noted that the government was committed to increasing its capacity for testing for coronavirus cases in the country. He said 21 laboratories nationwide are now operational for COVID-19 testing. On the situation in Kano, the minister noted that a task team from Federal Ministry of Health has been deployed in the state. The ECOWAS Commission has dismissed reports that its health institution, West Africa Health Organization, has ordered medicine developed by the Madagascar Institute of Applied Research, Madagascar, for COVID-19 treatment. The regional body said it was aware that claims of COVID-19 cures had been made in different parts of the world, but added that it could endorse products that have been shown to be effective through scientific study. Madagascar had touted organics as a cure for the coronavirus disease, with President Rajoelina celebrating the herbal medicine which contains Artemisa at an African Union gathering. But the ECOWAS Commission, in a statement in Abuja on Thursday, said the West Africa Health Organization is collaborating with relevant partners, including the World Health Organization, Africa Center for Disease Control, as well as national, regional, and international research consortia to promote the scientific research for a cure. ECOWAS said the West Africa Health Organization remained committed to promoting rational traditional medicine practices and products in the region. The United Nations has appealed for a further $4.7 billion in funding to protect millions of lives and stem the spread of coronavirus in fragile countries. It follows the $2 billion requested when the UN launched its global humanitarian response plan in March, of which around half has been received. UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Mark Lowcock, said the most devastating effect of the coronavirus pandemic will be felt in the world's poorest countries. In many of the world's most fragile states, the peak of the disease is not expected for another 3 to 6 months. The money is expected to cover costs of the humanitarian response plan until December. Lowcock said unless action is taken, the world should be prepared for a significant rise in conflict, hunger and poverty, adding that the specter of multiple famines looms. Ogun State currently have 78 active cases, with 20 people discharged and 2 deaths from non-COVID-related conditions. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, stated this while giving an update on COVID-19 cases in the state held at Okemoso, Abeokuta. Yusuf Ganyu reports.
Today marks exactly 11 weeks since Ogun State began its fight against COVID-19 with the index case at Ewekoro local government area. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Kuka, says 10,000 individuals have been screened with 725 samples tested, adding that the state government is scaling up its response and measures to combat the spread of COVID-19.
We have a 100th positive confirmed case. So far, as a state, we've screened 9,600 odd individuals, and of those, we've actually tested 725 people, of which, as I mentioned earlier, 100 have been positive. We currently have 78 active cases, whilst we've discharged 20 people who have recovered and returned to their family to start leading a normal life. Unfortunately, we've had 2 fatalities. The 2 cases died of conditions which are not related to COVID. However, they tested COVID positive on their swab.
Dr. Kuka further stresses that the laboratory and testing capacity for turnaround time has been improved.
As it states, we continue our community-based sampling, and we can see from the results that we do have community transmission. We've also scaled up our capacity to test in the state, and with that we have a better turnaround time, and our tests are being returned within 24 hours. Our patients are then also less anxious, and our doctors are less exposed to positive patients whilst being held in isolation centers.
She also reflects that the negligence of individuals for not following the necessary measures is already leading to community spread of the pandemic.
It appears that we as a society, we have not grasped the dangers associated with COVID-19. And for us to overcome COVID-19 disease in our community, we have to ensure that we maintain the social distancing. It is understandable that we've all been under lockdown in the last 4 weeks. Hence, there's the urgency to go out to get money to ensure that we continue our livelihood. But in doing so, we cannot be negligent. We must adhere to the directives. Otherwise, this COVID disease will stay with us longer than we desire it.
She, however, appealed to the residents as they go about their normal day-to-day activities during the relaxation period to endeavor to observe personal hygiene, physical distancing, and use a face mask for the containment of the virus in the state. Yusuf Ganyu, Ogtv News.
In enforcing the directive of the government towards curtailing the spread of coronavirus in the country, security operatives have impounded some motorcycles for violating the lockdown order. Ogtv News crew, while moving around Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, observed that the officers had their hands full with motorcyclists who failed to adhere to government order. Shemilore Amore has the details.
The ever-busy NNPC Road, Iyano Mortuary, Kuto and some other commercial areas in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, were deserted as most people are forced to retreat home after relaxation to help curtail the spread of the coronavirus. The partial relaxation was to reduce the negative effects of the lockdown on Nigerians, as well as reawaken economic activities. In line with government directives, security operatives in the state have continued to rise up to the challenge of monitoring human and vehicular movements to ensure compliance to the lockdown order of the government. One of the security agents of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria states that the group has seized motorcycles of violators of the lockdown who are non-essential workers and those who fail to comply with the stay-at-home order.
Most of the Okada rider, yes, very stubborn. So that's why I stopped back. I arrest about 4 or 5 Okada riders there. So the people they ride the bike, I can't allow him to go because unless that is information, you need, because you have no cover, stay at home. Stay at home. But most of the Okada rider on motor, they try to Ibara police station there.
He also lauds efforts of Governor Dakwa Abiodun's administration for noticing the efforts of security personnel during the lockdown with the donation of food items to mitigate its economic effects on their families.
Last week, he called all the security agencies to give out the food, like maize, beans, rice, gari. So I so appreciate he got the efforts done.
The federal government had earlier explained that its approach to the coronavirus has remained in 2 steps, which include protection of lives as well as preserving the livelihood of workers. Shemiluri Amore, Ogtv News.
The intended application of local herbs to fight COVID-19 pandemic by the Nigerian government has received support from many Nigerians. While some said it is a good step in the right direction towards checkmating the spread of the virus, others, however, submitted that its clinical perfection will be necessary for accurate dosage. Peter Falomo reports.
The proposed plan by the federal government of Nigeria to diversify into alternative medicine for possible cure of coronavirus, as disclosed by the Minister of Health, Dr. Ozage Ehanire, is receiving support from many Nigerians. According to the Health Minister, the process will pass through the Nigeria Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development for certification. While observing local herbs being categorized as part of many drugs that can cure coronavirus, it is believed that the body system must be able to build the required antibodies to neutralize the virus at the final stage of the local herbs production.
It is important for all Nigerians to focus on the facts and not on fear and not to generate panic. I will initiate all measures required to prevent spread of any outbreak in Nigeria.
Respondents give words of assurance to the healing power of local herbs in curing the virus.
Tí a bá fẹ́ ṣoògùn ti kòró, títí ìbílẹ̀ tó dájú, tí ò ní yábi téèyàn bá wà, ó wà. Arọ wa sí àwọn ìjọba ní pé kíní nǹkan kàn jọ̀wọ́ kàn gba oògùn ti ìbílẹ̀ kàn gbà láàyè ànígbàgbọ́ pa ṣe é ṣe.
Others who spoke with Ogtv News say the nation stands a chance of improving greatly in health sector if effective collaboration is reached between medical and traditional practitioners.
This is not the first pandemic we have in the world. We heard about all these chicken pox and some other things, which we have smallpox, all those things that we have the traditional medicine of handling it, all those things, all this migraine, everything, we have it. That we are using it here too. So for this new coronavirus, let the federal government come together, let them bring these people together and see how they can come up with this.
Even the fruits of the tree planted beside the river will be for our eating, and then the leaves of the tree for our usage to heal. So if all these orthodox is gone, then childhood will still continue, because that's the way it has been from the beginning, and at the end too, that's the way it's going to be. So traditional medicine is the way to go.
The content of the mixture are things that are well known, are things that have been proven, are things that we have been using in one form or the other before now. Alum sativa is garlic, alum sepa, onions, black pepper. These are things that ordinarily we have been using in one form or the other. So to me, it is a welcome development.
They enjoined Nigerians to ensure that they keep to health tips as instructed by medical practitioners. Peter Falomo, Ogtv News.
The Ogun State Police is set to clamp down on owners of vehicles or motorcycles who engage in overloading against the directives of the state government. In a statement by the command's public relations officer, DSP Abimbola Oyeyemi, the Commissioner of Police, CP Kenneth Abrimson, has therefore directed personnel to arrest and impound any vehicle or motorcycle that is caught carrying more than the required passengers, while the driver or the rider will be prosecuted. The statement noted that there has been flagrant disobedience to the government's directives, which made it compulsory for everybody to always put on face mask when moving around and within the state, in order to mitigate the spread of the deadly coronavirus. The command also observed that this is against the social and physical distancing, which is capable of jeopardizing the efforts of government in war against COVID-19 pandemic. The statement therefore enjoined all and sundry to cooperate with the government, as no effort should be spared in the joint fight to flatten the curve of COVID-19. The Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, has vowed to prosecute any TRACE operative guilty of extortion and corrupt practices. The TRACE Corps Commander and Chief Executive Commandant Sheni Ogunyemi let this out in a statement. The statement by the Public Relations Officer, Commandant Babatunde Akimbiyi, says the warning became imperative following observations by management as a result of increasing rate of suspected extortion within and among field commanders and operatives. This, the statement added, is to allow people in transit free passage on interstate and borderline roads, which is against the federal and state governments in a move directive in a move to curb the spread of COVID-19. TRACE operatives were therefore warned to desist or be ready to face appropriate sanctions through relevant sections of the anti-graft law of the country and TRACE court law. The statement concludes that the general and motoring public should desist from giving TRACE operatives any form of gratification except payment for traffic infractions, which should be paid to government treasury through designated banks. We'll take a short break now to come back with more news and reports. You must welcome back. This is Ogtv News. 10 persons associated with the State House Marina, Lagos, have tested positive for COVID-19. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, revealed this through his Twitter handle on Thursday. The Health Commissioner called on Lagosians to observe the precautionary measures such as social distancing, washing of hands with soaps, and use of hand sanitizers. He therefore implored the entire citizens to continue to embrace the Mask Up Lagos initiative and observe all precautionary measures such as physical distancing, hand washing, and other personal hygiene, saying all directives on easing lockdown in Lagos State remain in force, and it is the collective responsibility of all to stop the spread of the pandemic. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and his wife, Joke Sanwo-Olu, have tested negative to COVID-19 3 times. Professor Akin Abayomi, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, disclosed this via his Twitter handle on Thursday. And still talking COVID-19, Niger State has recorded 2 more cases of COVID-19 pandemic. This brings the total number of confirmed cases in the state to 8. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Muhammad Makusidi, disclosed this on Thursday while giving an update on the cases recorded in the state. He explained that one of the new cases is the husband of the only woman at the isolation center from Suleja and the returnee from Kano, and the second new case is a man already at the quarantine center from Zumba and also a returnee from Kano. He, however, revealed that the Limawa case is now negative and awaiting a second test confirmation before it can be discharged. Kano State Governor Aminu Masari has decried the increase in the bandit attacks and cattle rustling in the state. The governor on Thursday explained that it started to run out of patience because of the plight of the residents in local government bordering the forest. He said this when he received the Chief of Defense Training and Operations, Major General Leo Irabo, on a courtesy call at the government house in Katsina. Governor Masari decried the terrible condition in which the villagers were living, saying the situation was not about coronavirus, but bandit virus. He noted that a divisional police officer in Faskari local government area was nearly killed in an attack by bandits, adding that he was receiving treatment at a hospital. The governor revealed that on the same night, 5 people were killed and the animals rustled at a village in neighboring Sabua local government area of the state. Governor Masari lamented that the residents have started losing confidence in the administration, stressing that the locals threatened to take up arms and confront the bandits. Although the governor lamented that he had limitations of both resources and authority, he was hopeful that banditry will stop in Katsina as the security operatives were armed with the needed weapons and logistics. Earlier, Major General Irabo told Governor Masari that he was in Katsina following the report on the resurgence of banditry in the Rugu forest. He assured the governor that the military will step up operations to bring the situation under control and thanked him for his support to the military. As a way of making Ogun State the food basket of the nation in due time, the pertinence of training of farmers has been described as a pivotal stage to achieving the desired yield range. Stating this was the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adiola Odedino, while declaring the trainers session open with beneficiaries of Anchor Borers program on the cassava production. Ife Shulade's report is presented in this package.
Training the Trainers exercise is an Ogun State initiative meant to develop the productivity of cassava farmers under the CBN-supported Anchor Borrowers program, in which 3,500 out of the 27,000 registered cassava farmers have been supported with capitals, lands, farming crops, and input linkage with marketers. Declaring the training session open was the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adiola Odedino, at Ogun State Agricultural Development Program Center, Ogtv. These sets of step-down agents currently undergoing training due to compliance with the social distancing directive from the state government would be useful by also tutoring other farmers in the rural areas.
As a cassava agronomist, I will tell you that the potential of cassava is 100 tons per hectare. But we are not telling you to move farmers from 6 to 100. But if you give farmers training, they are able to do 25, which is very competitive and comfortable. Then they will come back to the crop.
And in extension of the training exercise, the Commissioner, as well as the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Dotun Shorunke, also inspected farm equipment yard at Ilishon in Ikene local government, Osude Farms at Ijesha Ijebu in Odogbolu local government, and Adolfo's Farms and Meat Processing Plant at Ilara under Remo North local government.
Any interested farm, kindly come on board. We are not discriminating. We will link you up with opportunity. We will link you up with funding. There are several funding windows that is open to farming.
We appreciate the support and we look forward to partnering with the Ogun State government so that we can do more, so that we can make Ogun State the food basket for Nigeria.
The whole essence of the tour, according to them, is to link local farmers and private mechanization companies with each other so as to meet the goals of supporting private investment programs and tackle likely post-COVID-19 food challenge in the state.
We are here to assess this facility and then map out the way that we can provide a enabling environment and the necessary consultancy for him so that he can be back in business. We are doing that across the state.
They stated further that Ogun State is open to youths and intending farmers to tap into a well of funds, land, skill acquisition opportunities, and direct linkage with private investors.
The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, has applauded steps taken so far by the institution's management, led by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kolawole Salako, at implementing federal government's directive on resumption of workers. Similarly, the National Association of Academic Technologists, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, has equally commended the university authorities for the proactive manner in returning workers to their duty post. In a statement by SANU Chairman, Comrade Rotimi Fasson, and Secretary Dr. Ajiboye Anjori, the union, however, dissociated itself from a media statement on AIT by a sister union that it is against the resumption arrangement stipulated by the management. The statement observed that the management, in line with the gradual returning of businesses as directed by the federal government, has provided necessary precautionary measures like hand-washing system, hand sanitizers, and the second-round fumigation exercise of the entire university ahead of the resumption on Monday, May 11, 2020. The union is particularly happy that, considering the peculiarities of FUNAB as an approved specialized institution, necessary arrangements have also been made to provide security personnel with thermometer to check body temperature of everyone coming into the premises. In a similar vein, the National Association of Academic Technologists, in a statement by its chairman, Comrade O. Olurede, and acting secretary, Comrade C. Alake, frowned at a media statement by a sister union opposing the gradual administrative resumption of workers. The union condemned in its entirety the act of externalizing trivial matters, thereby projecting the image of the university negatively. The statement salutes the doggedness of the management in ensuring the university returns to life and applauded measures put in place to ensure safety of workers. Both unions, therefore, directed their members to resume for work on Monday, May 11, 2020, in consonance with the 20% workforce arrangement. Coming up on business news, NNPC announces reduction in ex-depot price of petrol from 133 naira to 108 naira per litre. More business stories after the break. This is the business segment of this news. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has announced a reduction in the ex-depot price of petrol from 113 naira per litre to 108 naira per litre. It said the price reduction took effect across all its product loading facilities as well as in its throughput operations. The corporation's group managing